John Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Charles, President of Cascade Policy Institute, a local market-oriented research center. And my message today will be the same message I've given the TriMet board probably 8 or 9 times in the last 29 years. Obviously I haven't been very persuasive, which is that I think the Fareless Square is an idea whose time has come and passed, especially because of its original mission, which was completely focused on cleaning up downtown air. Now, during the 1980s, as an activist, I spent thousands of hours of my professional life working on an array of air quality issues, and I'm very proud to have played a tiny role in one of the great success stories of the last quarter century, which is the cleanup of air in the Portland region. I would guess that we probably have the cleanest air now of any time in Portland's history, and it's only going to get better due to technological innovation, both of vehicle engines and fuels. In fact, we probably could not worsen Portland's air if we tried because of the turnover of vehicles. So continuation of this policy is mission creep. You're searching for some new rationale. And I would say on the air quality front, we came, we saw, we conquered. Let's have a party and move on. The proposed revision has no intellectual rationale. Either your service has value to customers or it doesn't. The proposed free trains, pay bus, that's sort of being half pregnant here. It's not going to work. Either you have value or you don't, and you need to have something that you can defend. Moreover, TriMet is reducing service right now, and you just got your second payroll tax increase approved by the legislature in the last 6 years, and yet you're leaving roughly $2.7 to $3.3 million on the table in lost fare revenue through this policy. I don't know how you square those things, and I think it's especially unfair to regional workers, many of whom in the suburbs see this as just a subsidy to downtown. Fareless Square is also the cause of at least 2 non-revenue related problems that I can see. First is the invasion of Lloyd District by park and riders. Roughly 25% of the people getting on at the Max Lloyd station are driving to there, parking and then catching a free train. Clearly they see that as a subsidy, and many of them are also trespassing on the parking lots of Lloyd District to make matters worse. So you're inviting that problem that's a big hassle to the Lloyd District. And second, I think you're encouraging the poor behavior that is a chronic problem on transit, which happens to be my pet peeve these days. Is the thing that bothers me most as a TriMet passenger is the poor behavior of riders. Your policing costs, especially for Max, are very high. And when you price it at 0, you send a simple message. When you give things away, people don't respect the service, and they don't respect the service providers. And if you want people to behave better, you need to put a price on it. So I think, notwithstanding that this has become sort of a religious icon in Portland, given the financial stress that the agency is under right now, I don't think you can continue to pretend that this service is free. You know it's not. If you price it, service will improve. You get more production going through downtown, you get better behavior by passengers, your bottom line will improve. And I think it's time to have a responsible, financially prudent pricing policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Blue Church.
My name is Lou Church. I'm a coordinator of PSU, Progressive Student Union. I'm also treasurer of the Transit Writers Union. John Charles came and talked to Transit Writers Union a few weeks ago, and we appreciated his doing that. We thought he had some good analysis. However, in terms of his support of the proposal to axe Fareless Square, he didn't say anything or cut back on Fareless Square and start charging for buses. And he didn't say anything about the 27 frequent use bus routes that are also, I understand, under the proposal. Transit Riders Union completely, totally, and absolutely disagrees with both John Charles' position on eliminating Fareless Square or cutting it back, and with the proposal before the board. I brought some petitions that we've been working on, and it sounds like the next meeting will be August 12th of the board. I would urge you, I would challenge you as a board, as a non-elected board, that people do not get to vote for, to have that meeting, and I don't know if the time's been set, at 6 p.m. in this room, so that other people who might be working can attend that meeting. I did bring some petitions. There's about 25 pages. I think it represents about 500 people. I appreciate that John Charles in the past worked on environmental issues as an activist. I'm not sure if our 500 signatures cancel out John's comments, but I do want to give you the petitions.
Next, Mr. Bottomley, Barney.
President Passador, members of the board. I'm Barney Bottomley, Vice President of Economic Development and Government Relations for the Portland Business Alliance. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak in support of this ordinance today.
And Mr. Bottomley, could you explain again who the Portland Business Alliance is and represents?
Portland Business Alliance is the Regional Chamber of Commerce as well as the Downtown Business Improvement District. So we represent both entities. The fall opening of the Max Green Line and the introduction of light rail on 5th and 6th Avenue provide, we think, a good opportunity to take another look at Fareless Square and the delivery of transit services in the downtown area. As a result of that opportunity, we formed a task force last year to look at the question of Fareless Square and service in downtown. The task force was made up of a broad variety of Central City stakeholders and included folks from the Lloyd District, Portland State, Higher Education, University of Oregon, retailers, building owners, building managers, and social service providers. We met for about 7 or 8 times over the course of 6 months. We heard from TriMet, from regional land use planners, from rider advocates, from law enforcement, from retailers, from a wide variety of interests around transit service in the downtown. We looked at the historical purpose behind Fareless Square, and as Mr. Charles mentioned, that largely centered around air quality, but it also related to changes in downtown having to do with parking and so forth that the retailers were very focused on and interested in to make sure that they still had good access for their customers. We also heard from folks in the education community about the needs for transportation for students and from social service providers about the needs for their clients to have service in downtown. The conclusion of the committee was that Fareless Square should be modified. It still serves an important purpose, and it can continue to serve that purpose, and that has to do both with clean air and global warming, but also with urban form, with making sure that downtown is a vibrant, lively core for both office and retail, and that it can provide those services through a rail-only Fareless system. We had a lot of discussion about whether there should be changes to the boundary, particularly in the Lloyd District, and the owners, managers of the Lloyd Center and the hotels in that area, as well as some of the other property owners, really felt that they could manage the park and ride situation over there, and that they would like to see the boundary remain where it is. To not belabor the point, we felt that modification to a rail-only Fareless Square was supported, provided the benefits ongoing of a fareless system in downtown, but addressed some of the major shortcomings of the current formula having to do with fare evasion and the difficulty that the system, and particularly the drivers, have in monitoring who gets on downtown and stays on once the bus leaves the fareless boundary. So we felt that on balance, altering and modifying Fareless Square in the way that's proposed in this ordinance was something that we could very strongly support.
Great. Okay, thank you very much.